Hello folks, today is Friday, September 16th, 2016. My name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game stuff that happens every single week. But just before we start, we're stepping it up. We're going a little bit bigger for you guys. The free game giveaway that we do every single week, well, now we're giving away a console every single week. That's right, an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4. I can't even believe that we're doing this, but we are. We've given away some consoles in the past. People have been pretty pumped about it, but we just want to step it up for you guys. So you guys know it's still the same deal. You go down below, there's a link below. You click it once to sign up. You enter once, you enter forever. And then every single week I close my eyes and go in and randomly pick one winner now to win a free console of their choice. But with that housekeeping out of the way, let's talk about the video game stuff that did happen this week. First things first, some bad news. Last Guardian, delayed. South Park, The Fractured But Whole, delayed. And I think it's very interesting, you know, South Park, the games just have kind of a big history of delays, but I think the most interesting thing to come out of the Last Guardian delay is that apparently some people got some hands-on previews and apparently the game is just kind of okay, which breaks my damn heart because I've been waiting for this forever. Of course, I need to play it before I believe that, but now the Last Guardian is pushed off to be one of the last games releasing in December. And I don't know if you guys caught this, but on the Australian PlayStation Network store, Red Dead Revolver went live. You could buy it for your PlayStation 4. Apparently it was up-res to 1080p and had new features like trophies and all that jazz. And when I saw that, I spit out my coffee because that's amazing, and that meant it was probably coming for the North America PlayStation Store soon, but they took it down. But judging by the fact that it was on the store, it had features, I assume that it is going to be out for real soon. Maybe just somebody pulled the trigger a little too early, and I have to say, okay, this might be, this is probably going to be a very unpopular opinion, but Red Dead Revolver is just as good as Red Dead Redemption in a completely different way, but you should play it.
If you put in front of me, hey Tom, do you want to play Red Dead Redemption or Red Dead Revolver? I would say Revolver.
Ooh, Tom, those are fighting words.
But the real king, the once and future king, is Gun. So that's all that really matters.
Gun is good. Everybody forgets about Gun. And I don't know if you guys caught this, but some asshole analyst said that we're getting the PlayStation 5 in 2018, which I don't know if you've been counting, but that's 3 years from now. That really is kind of not a very cool prediction. However, though, this analyst does have a proven track record. He called the PlayStation 4 Slim and the PlayStation 4 Pro. So, I mean, I guess his opinion holds a little weight, but maybe it's just I don't want to accept that. I don't want to believe that that could be a thing. You know, as always, I linked the source down below. You can check it out, read it for yourself, see what you think. Honestly, I'm not too sure, but I think we all kind of have to accept this new reality. It really sucks because, you know, the PlayStation 4 Pro is a hard sell to many of us already, but a PlayStation 5 a few years down the line, that's just starting to kind of alienate me. Stop trying to take all my money, please. And every once in a while on the show, we like highlighting cool things that people make about video games, so check this out. This popped up on the PlayStation community forums. This is some really cool fan art for a potential, like, Last of Us 2 type of thing. This is by the username Sackboy_305, and I gotta say, this is really impressive Last of Us looking stuff. He really nailed the feel of the first game, but kind of actually making it seem like a sequel. Sometimes when people post really good stuff like this, they end up getting a job out of the deal, so I hope he finds his way. And look, I'll totally admit a lot of the news and stuff we're talking about this week is PlayStation centric, but I did go on and I tried to look up some Xbox news for you guys, and I found one very interesting bit of news. This guy in Massachusetts freaked out at a gas station, pulled the gas nozzle out of his car, and threatened to set the whole thing ablaze. The police showed up, then SWAT teams showed up, and there was this whole big standoff for over 5 hours, and at one point he actually had an Xbox One controller in his hand that he was using to threaten police, holding it like a gun. I shit you not. When I first heard the story and I looked that up, I'm like, oh, it had to have been like a weird looking controller, right? Nope, just regular old Xbox One controller. That's crazy because I love stories like this. We're probably gonna put this one in like the craziest stories of the month video we do with Falcon. It's just like that Joker quote. Didn't the Joker say that we're all one bad day away from holding up a gas station with an Xbox One controller or something? I'm sorry.
It's a bad joke.
That was a real bad joke. At Tokyo Game Show, Hideo Kojima took the stage to talk about Death Stranding a little bit more, his next upcoming game, revealing a few details. Obviously, he said it is going to support the whole new 4K thing. It's also going to have online elements, but the most interesting thing to take away is that he said it's going to be open world. What the fuck is it? Yeah, I still don't know. Like, he needs to just come out and be like, this is my video game. The way I look at it, though, this game is still very, very early in development, so I'm not taking anything he says as, like, you know, gospel. But I'm still really excited, and if it is open world, I hope it's like a Hideo Kojima spin on it and not just like, you know, another Assassin's Creed climb up every tower and get every checkpoint type of thing. Also, since last week when we did get the PlayStation 4 Pro announcement, footage and stuff has been out in the wild long enough for people to go through and dissect it little by little, and we've gotten some interesting looks, comparisons between some of the little sizzles we've gotten here and there, held up with real gameplay or real trailers. Yes, PlayStation 4 Pro does seem to make things look not only sharper, but better lighting, a little bit more detail, maybe even a little bit more color. You know, is that necessarily worth spending $399 on? That I don't know, but a bunch of websites have compiled comparisons. We've put a little bit of our own up here if you guys are watching them, and I'm very curious to see if you guys think that this is worth taking the plunge for. Because honestly, I don't know. Something that I have been following very obsessively, though, is Resident Evil 7, and after Tokyo Game Show, there was an announcement that the demo would be updated to add like a new little bits here and there and a new room you can check out. The demo does have a few new interesting things here and there. I'm not going to go through all of them, but honestly what intrigued me the most was the new trailer we got. This is like a real trailer showing stuff that is going to happen in the game and gameplay, and it looks interesting. It looks very different. I still get a little pissy as an old school Resident Evil fan. I think like this shouldn't be Resident Evil, but ultimately it looks like an interesting game that I do want to play, whether it's Resident Evil or not, especially that dinner table scene at the end that seemed very tense, very creepy, very weird, very motion captured, and very creepy, just the way it was executed, and I'm kind of all about that. I just can't help but laugh every single time that the old man says, "Welcome to the family, son," because the first time I was describing to somebody, like I think it was you, right?
Was me,
I was describing the demo to Tom, and I said, and then the guy in the end, he says like, "Welcome to the party, pal." Like, so now every single time I think of Die Hard, I think of "Welcome to the party, pal." Also, one other thing I think is very interesting and worth noting is that Capcom has actually said on Twitter that Resident Evil 7 will have no microtransactions in it whatsoever. But, you know, that sounds great and all, but the game also has a shit ton of dumb pre-order bonuses. It also is going to have a season pass and, like, these little extra story missions. So while they said there's no microtransactions, there's still a bunch of other things in there that might bother some people, but at least it doesn't have that. We also got a bunch of trailers that dropped, including a new trailer for Dishonored 2, which just looks damn good. The finishing kills, the stealth kills look really great. I still wish they didn't give Corvo a face and a voice, but that's just my personal opinion. We also got a new trailer for Final Fantasy 15, straight out of TGS. It's very Japanese, it gives you no context whatsoever, but it looks pretty. But something that I am crazy pumped about, I was freaking out after I saw the trailer, is this game Dusk. This is developed by a really awesome team, and it just looks like such a great nod to so many games that I really like, you know, Doom, Quake, even Heretic was in there. It just seems like that's something I want. Like right now, between Strafe and this, I'm like, this is my time. What was also very interesting was, you know, one of the heads of Sony, Shuhei Yoshida, was on record saying some kind of funny things about No Man's Sky and Hello Games and Sean Murray that I thought were very interesting. I thought you guys would get a kick out of it. While Shuhei Yoshida did say that he is enjoying playing the game, you could take these quotes as him throwing shade a little bit, or maybe not so much, but here's what he said. "I understand some of the criticisms, especially Sean Murray is getting, because he sounded like he was promising more features in the game from day one. It wasn't a great PR strategy because he didn't have a PR person helping him, and in the end, he is an indie developer." I mean, that could be interpreted in two ways. It's like, in the end, he's just an indie developer. But I get what he was coming across as saying. Like, he is just a person and in charge of this whole big thing. So, yeah, it did grow out of control, and I think we've all learned a lot from No Man's Sky, am I right? But those were the video game things I thought were worth talking about this week. But let's get back to that giveaway. The first person ever to win our new Friday show, all forever console giveaway type of thing is, congratulations, I'll be contacting you, I'll be hitting you up, we'll be sending you a console. Nice job. That's a surprise, and if you already have one, now you got two. Give it to your stepdad. I don't know. But now that's out of the way, let's talk about stuff down in the comments. Do you think the PS4 Pro is really going to be worth the jump? Do you think the graphical leap, it justifies the new $400 you might possibly spend? Also, how do you feel about Resident Evil 7? Did that new trailer finally win you over, or have you been on board from the beginning? Also, do you hate what I had to say about Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Revolver? And do you really think we can see a PlayStation 5 in 2018? That's absolutely fucking crazy. Also, if you were to rob a gas station, what kind of video game controller would you use? Let me know anything you want down in the comments below. I'll be there. I'll also be on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and all those places at Jake Baldino as well. We can talk. But you guys know the deal. Thank you so much for watching. As always, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. Let's just do more of these, more before you buys, more lists, and more everything that we do here. And if this is your first time here, subscribing is a good idea because we put out videos every single day. Every single day. I don't sleep. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Pizza's on me.